Welcome back. This is BL Stories for You. I'm an indie author dedicated to original BL storytelling. From high school drama to fantasy worlds, everything you hear is written by me. I'm so glad you're here for this journey. Let's begin.
Minji's mother didn't waste a single second. The moment she reached them, her eyes narrowed, scanning the way they stood a little too close, the way Minji's body instinctively angled toward Jae Hoon. "What is going on here?" she demanded sharply. "Why are the two of you together like this?" The air instantly turned heavy. Jae Hoon reacted first. He bowed slightly, his voice calm and respectful, stepping neatly into damage control. "Auntie, it's not what you think. Min Jae has been staying with us because he lost his house keys. That's all. We were just heading back from outside." Minji's mother snapped her head toward her son. "And why didn't you go to your father's house instead?" Min Jae clenched his jaw. "Because Dad lives far from my school," he replied, irritation creeping into his voice. "And I called you. You didn't pick up." Her eyes flashed. "You could have gone anywhere else," she shot back. "Anywhere but that woman's house. And now you're loitering around with her son too? Don't you have other friends?" That was the breaking point. "Why do you hate them so much?" Min Jae blurted out. Jae Hoon's breath caught. Min Jae didn't stop there. "Jae Hoon's mom took care of me the whole time I was there," he continued, his voice shaking with pent-up frustration. "She made sure I ate. She checked on me. She actually noticed me. Meanwhile, you couldn't even return a call or check if your only child was okay." His mother froze. Then her eyes welled up. "Do you think I'm not trying?" she cried. "I work myself to the bone just to keep us going. Your father is useless. He doesn't help with anything. I wanted to answer you, Min Jae. The place I was in had no network." Her voice softened, but only for a moment. "Still," she added firmly, "that's not the issue. I don't want you spending time with Jae Hoon. That hasn't changed." Min Jae stared at her, disbelief etched across his face. "I refuse," he said flatly. Jae Hoon's eyes widened. "I like hanging out with Jae Hoon," Min Jae continued, "and I regret staying away from him all these years just because I was scared of you and trying to respect your feelings. I'm done with that. I'm going to do what I want now." The tension was thick enough to suffocate. Mother and son stood locked in a standoff, emotions spiraling toward a full-blown argument. That was when Jae Hoon stepped forward. "Min Jae," he said gently, placing a calming hand on his arm. "Please go home. Don't fight with your mom because of me." Min Jae shook his head. "Jae Hoon, it's okay," Jae Hoon insisted, forcing a small smile. "We'll talk later." After a long, reluctant pause, Min Jae exhaled sharply. "I'll text you," he said quietly. His mother watched the exchange with stunned eyes, clearly not missing the closeness between them. Without another word, Min Jae turned and walked off, anger radiating from every step. As his mother followed after him, she paused briefly and cast one last, unreadable look at Jae Hoon, sharp, assessing, and far from approving, before disappearing into the house. Jae Hoon quietly let himself into the house and closed the door behind him. The silence was a relief. He glanced around and sighed when he realized his mother wasn't home yet. If she had seen what happened outside, he didn't even want to imagine how much worse things could have become. Leaning against the door for a moment, Jae Hoon let everything sink in. What had just happened wasn't small. It was a rude wake-up call. Loving Min Jae wasn't going to be easy. Whatever they were building together would have to survive judgment, anger, and storms they couldn't avoid. At Minji's house, things were far from calm. He stormed into his room, ignoring his mother's voice calling after him. The door slammed shut with a sharp sound that echoed down the hallway. Min Jae paced the room, running a hand through his hair, his chest rising and falling as he tried to steady himself. After a while, he finally picked up his phone. "I'm sorry about my mom. You didn't deserve that." The reply came quickly. "It's okay. I wasn't really surprised. Honestly, it would have been worse if she caught us kissing." Min Jae let out a quiet, humorless laugh. Jae Hoon typed back, "Some rest. Okay?" We'll figure things out tomorrow. The message calmed him more than he expected. He typed, I will. Good night. Later that night, Jae-hoon's mother returned home. She immediately noticed something was off when she looked at Jae-hoon. His expression told her more than his words ever could. He was unusually quiet, thoughtful, and distant as he sat on the living room table reading. Did something happen? Where is Min Jae? She asked gently. Jae-hoon shook his head. Nothing happened. Min Jae just returned home since his mother is back, he replied. His mother studied him for a moment, unconvinced, but chose not to press further. Instead, she sighed. Well, she said half to herself. I hope his mother at least has the courtesy to say thank you for taking care of her son for the past 3 days. Jae-hoon forced a small smile. Deep down, he knew things were only just beginning, and whatever came next wouldn't be simple at all. The next morning, Min Jae woke up earlier than usual. As he was about to sit up on his bed, he heard his mother's voice drifting in from the living room. It was low, tense, almost desperate. He paused, listening without meaning to. I'm begging you, she said quietly into the phone. Just give me a little more time. I promise I'll sort it out. There was a long pause, then a shaky sigh. Minji's chest tightened, but he forced himself to shake the feeling away. He didn't want to think too much about it. If he did, he knew it would ruin his whole day. He got dressed quickly, grabbed his bag, and stepped out of his room. His mother was already in the kitchen. When she saw him, she immediately softened. Wait, I'll make you breakfast, she said. At least have something before school. I'm not hungry, Min Jae replied, avoiding her eyes as he walked towards the door. Before he could step out, she rushed after him, holding a piece of toast in her hand. Just take this. But the moment they stepped outside, everything froze. Jae-hoon and his mother were just leaving their house. Min Jae stiffened. Jae-hoon's eyes widened slightly when he saw him, and for a split second, relief flickered across his face. But the adults noticed each other too, and the air instantly grew heavy. Minji's mother turned sharply, clearly intending to go back inside. Oh no, Jae-hoon's mother said calmly, but with a sharp edge. Are you really going to pretend you didn't see me? Minji's mother stopped. Jae-hoon's mother crossed her arms. That's quite rude, you know? Avoiding someone who took care of your son for days while you were away. I didn't ask you to, Minji's mother snapped. So I'm not obligated to thank you. Jae-hoon's mother let out a short laugh. I'm not surprised. You've always had such a big ego. Minji's mother's eyes flashed. And you've always been poking your nose where it doesn't belong. The tension was thick and uncomfortable. Min Jae clenched his fists. Jae-hoon stood silently beside his mother. His gaze lowered, clearly wishing the ground would swallow him whole. Then suddenly, Minji's mother's phone rang. She glanced at the screen, and all the color drained from her face. Yes, she answered quickly. Whatever she heard made her straighten instantly. I'll be there right away, she said. I'm coming now. She ended the call without another word, turned on her heel, and rushed back into the house. Everyone stood there, stunned. The argument vanished just as abruptly as it had started, replaced by a heavy, uneasy silence. Meanwhile, across town, Hannah stood in front of her mirror, adjusting the strap of her school bag. Her room was spotless, elegant, and quiet. A soft knock came at the door before her female butler stepped inside, holding a thin brown document. Miss Hannah, she said respectfully, handing it over. Hannah flipped through the pages, her eyes moving quickly. Names, photos, timelines. Is everything about Min Jae and Ji Hoon in here? She asked without looking up. Yes, the butler replied. Their families, school life, routines, everything you asked for. She hesitated before asking, May I ask why you're suddenly interested in them? Hannah finally looked up, a small, unreadable smile forming on her lips. Because, she said calmly, I don't like having my toys taken away from me. At the company, the atmosphere was completely different. Nammin leaned back in his chair, exhausted but satisfied, as he placed the final note on the page. I'm done, he said softly. The room went quiet for a second. Then June broke into a grin as he studied the lyrics. This is really good. Daejo nodded. No, seriously. This could be the one. Woojin glanced over the sheet and gave a short laugh. You're scary talented. Taeyang gave him a thumbs up. Great work, he said. Nammin smiled shyly as they congratulated him. And soon enough, everyone was heading into the studio to record. But the good mood didn't last long. Once inside, Woojin and Taeyang began arguing almost immediately. That line suits my tone better, Woojin said, arms crossed. Taeyang scoffed. You always say that. It doesn't mean it's true. The producer raised his hands. Guys, let's calm down. June stepped in quickly. We can split the parts evenly. Daejo added. Yeah. Let's not turn this into another thing. Their voices overlapped, tension rising again. Guys, please stop arguing. Nammin cried out, but no one heard him. That was when he suddenly swayed. The room blurred for him. The sounds felt distant, his head light, his legs weak. Before anyone else noticed, Taeyang turned, and just in time, caught Nammin as he collapsed forward. Nammin! Taeyang called out, alarmed, holding him steady. The room fell silent. Taeyang helped Nammin over to the couch. Hey! He said quietly, crouching in front of him. Are you okay? You scared everyone. Nammin blinked a few times, then gave a weak smile. I'm fine. Really. Just tired. And a little stressed. Woojin frowned. You almost passed out. I know. Nammin admitted softly. But I think I'd feel better if everyone stopped arguing so much. You guys fighting over every little thing. It makes the studio feel heavy. The room went quiet. June scratched the back of his head. He's got a point. Daejo nodded slowly. Yeah, we've been tense lately. Taeyang exhaled, looking straight at Nammin. You're not staying over tonight. I'll take you home. I'm okay. No. Taeyang cut in gently but firmly. I'm taking you. End of discussion. The others watched them, a little surprised by how serious Taeyang looked, but no one argued. Meanwhile, at the school gym, Min Jae and his basketball team gathered around their coach, still sweaty from practice. Listen up, the coach said, clapping his hands once. The regional competition starts next week. This isn't just another game. Scouts will be there. The team instantly perked up. If you perform well, the coach continued, you could be considered for the junior national team, and some elite clubs are also watching. This is your chance. So bring your A game. Min Jae felt his chest tighten with excitement. This wasn't just a dream anymore. It was a real opportunity. He clenched his fists. I'm going all in. As practice wrapped up, one of his teammates nudged him in the locker room. Yo, Ji Hoon's waiting outside for you. Another laughed. You two are way too close these days. Didn't you used to hate each other? Yeah, someone else added. What happened to the rivalry? Then one of them smirked. Wait, are you guys dating or something? Min Jae paused, then looked back at them with a playful grin. What do you think? That answer only confused them more. Before they could push further, Min Jae grabbed his bag and walked out. Outside, Ji Hoon was sitting on a bench, sketchbook on his lap, pencil moving quickly. Min Jae leaned over his shoulder. You're working on your competition piece already? He asked. Ji Hoon jumped slightly. You scared me. Min Jae studied the drawing. The character on the page had sharp eyes, messy hair, and a familiar posture. That looks like me. Ji Hoon's ears turned red. It's just reference. You're easy to draw. Just admit it's me. Min Jae smirked. It's really good. Ji Hoon smiled, though he still looked nervous. I have to submit in 2 weeks. I'm worried it won't be enough. It will, Min Jae said without hesitation. No matter what, you'll do well. Ji Hoon looked at him, surprised by how confident he sounded. Since school was over, they decided to walk to a nearby cafe. They chose a quiet corner, away from the main crowd. As they talked, Min Jae leaned in and Ji Hoon did the same. For a brief moment, they shared a soft, quick kiss. Right then, the waiter appeared with their drinks. Both of them froze. They pulled apart instantly, faces burning with embarrassment. The waiter simply placed the tray down with a neutral expression, as if he'd seen this scene 100 times before. "Enjoy," he said calmly before walking away. Min Jae and Ji Hoon stared at their drinks, then at each other, trying, and failing, not to laugh. Ji Hoon stirred his iced drink with a sigh, his earlier embarrassment slowly fading into frustration. "You know," he murmured, staring at the melting ice, "we can't even act normal. Every time we get close, it feels like the whole world is watching us." Min Jae rested his chin on his hand. "Are you feeling strange because of our moms?" "Yeah." Ji Hoon let out a small, tired laugh. "They hate each other, they're always fighting, and somehow we're stuck in the middle. I don't even care about the faded ink thing anymore. I just want us to be able to date peacefully, like normal people." Min Jae's expression softened. He reached across the table and gently held Ji Hoon's hand. "It won't be easy," he admitted. "But no matter what happens, we shouldn't break up. Ever." Ji Hoon looked up at him. "Promise." Min Jae extended his pinky. "Promise." Ji Hoon hooked his finger around Min Jae's, sealing it with a quiet smile. A simple promise, but it felt heavy in the best way. Meanwhile, that night, Taeyang guided Nammin into his house, his arm wrapped securely around him. Nammin's mother opened the door with a bright smile. "Taeyang, thank you so much for bringing him home." Her smile vanished the moment she noticed Nammin's pale face and sluggish steps. "Nammin," she cried, "what did you do to yourself? You're overworking again, aren't you?" "I'm fine, Mom," Nammin muttered, trying to downplay it. "No, you're not," she snapped, then suddenly stopped herself, remembering Taeyang was standing there. Her tone softened awkwardly. "I mean, just go to your room." Taeyang offered to help, supporting Nammin all the way upstairs and gently settling him onto his bed. Nammin's mother followed with a glass of water and some medicine, handing it to her son with a stern look. "Take this, and don't argue." Nammin obediently swallowed the pills, his eyes already drooping. Taeyang stood quietly by the bed, watching as Nammin slowly drifted to sleep. "Can I stay for a bit?" he asked softly. Nammin's mother nodded, clearly grateful. "Of course. Thank you for taking care of him." When she left, the room became quiet. Taeyang glanced around, curious. Posters of their group covered the walls. Albums, photo cards, handwritten lyric sheets, even small fan art sketches were pinned to a board. He chuckled under his breath. "He's a bigger fan than I thought." But then, something else caught his eye. Nammin's notebook was open on the desk, filled with neat, familiar handwriting. Taeyang's chest tightened. He pulled out his phone and opened the picture he had taken of the anonymous letter, the one he had thought was from Ji Hoon. He compared the letters side by side. The curves, the spacing, the way certain words leaned slightly to the right. It was the same. His mind spun. What does this mean? Before he could process it, Nammin suddenly stirred, his brows knitting together. "No, I'm sorry," Nammin whispered in his sleep. "I didn't mean to deceive you." Taeyang froze. He stepped closer and gently wrapped his arms around Nammin, soothing him. "You're safe," he whispered. "It's okay." Nammin slowly calmed down, his breathing evening out as Taeyang gently removed his glasses. Without his glasses, his face looked softer. Taeyang's heart clenched in a way he didn't fully understand. He leaned closer, his face hovering just inches away, tempted by feelings he couldn't explain. Then, their wrists began to glow faintly. Taeyang's eyes widened. He jerked back in panic, staring at the shimmering light that connected them. His heart pounding as fear and confusion crashed over him all at once. What is going on? By the time Ji Hoon and Min Jae reached their street, the sky had already turned a deep shade of blue. Streetlights flickered on one by one, casting long shadows across the quiet neighborhood. They slowed their steps as they approached their houses, neither of them eager to part ways. "I guess this is it," Ji Hoon said softly, trying to sound casual. Min Jae nodded, but he didn't move. Text me when you get inside. I will. You too. They shared a lingering look, the kind that said 1,000 things without a single word. Finally, Min Jae turned and walked toward his gate, while Ji Hoon headed for his own house, glancing back once before going inside. Min Jae pushed open his front door, expecting the usual silence or the sound of his mother talking on the phone. Instead, the house was eerily quiet. "Mom?" he called out. No answer. A strange feeling crept into his chest as he stepped further inside. Then he saw her. She was lying on the living room floor, her phone a few inches away from her hand. "Mom!" Min Jae dropped his bag and rushed to her side, his voice shaking. He gently shook her shoulders. "Mom, wake up! Mom!" There was no response. Panic flooded his mind. His hands trembled as he tried to remember what he had seen in movies and health class. He checked her breathing, then started calling her name louder, his voice cracking. "Mom! Please wake up!" His shout echoed through the open windows. Next door, Ji Hoon had just kicked off his shoes when he heard Min Jae scream. His heart skipped. He rushed back outside without thinking, sprinted across the small gap between their houses, and pushed open Min Jae's door. Min Jae! He froze at the sight in front of him. Min Jae was on the floor, cradling his mother in his arms, his face pale and terrified. "Ji Hoon!" Min Jae whispered, his voice breaking. "She won't wake up." Ji Hoon's chest tightened as he watched Min Jae gripping his mother's hand tightly, as if letting go would make things worse. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel for more episodes.